Hey there YouTubers, welcome back. This is Dan Strong with Excel VBA. Today we've got a question from a gentleman named Darcy, and what he's wanting to do is he's got a sheet that he gets a lot of varied numbers of columns. Sometimes it's got, let's say, 10 columns, sometimes got up to 20 perhaps, I don't know, but he said it varies a lot. And he'd like something that would run this macro that would work no matter what. So he wants it to be able to, number one, sort the sheet by the column called market percentage. Then he wants it to automatically color a certain column, like income, like say green. Third of all, he wants to replace the heading word with a different word. He wants to change the word households to simply capital H, capital H. So yes, all of this can be done with Visual Basic. First things first, let's show you kind of a sample sheet here that he gave us to look at. It's got some zip codes, routes, random check marks, and ages and market percentages and stuff like that. It's a typical thing you might see at at somebody's job. So we're going to work on that. Let's get started. Um, my my initial thought is if he's going to be receiving new workbooks all the time and he wants a macro that's available to him right off the bat, he's going to have to save those macros in his personal workbook. So let's go ahead and let's talk about that for just a second. We might do a separate video soon, but I'm going to click record macro, and I'm going to, instead of this workbook, I'm going to store it in the personal macro workbook that's basically accessible no matter what you have open. So let's store this new macro there, hit OK, and I'm just going to do a whole lot of nothing and hit stop. Now you can go to the View tab and click Unhide. Unhide a window, and the window that's hidden is the personal.xlsb. It's your personal workbook that hides all your macros if you want to access them from a different place. So let's double click there. Looks pretty boring until you hit Alt F11. You look at the macro you just made. Under modules, in module 1, here's the macro we just made, named macro 2, and we just selected F20 through K28. So I'm not going to keep that one, but at least now I can see what's in my personal workbook. I can change the name of this all I want. Let's see, what are we going to call this? My convert columns add green. Sure, why not? So now this macro is called convert columns add green. So we're not going to do that. We are going to record another macro though. We're going to record one for real. I'm going to go back to the actual workbook we're working on. It's called VBA column example. And let's get to the nitty gritty. Step 1 is actually in this sheet. Sorry. Step 1 is to sort the sheet by market percentage. So we're going to go there. Let's record what it looks like when we actually do it manually. So you can just select one and go to data and sort. It will get the appropriate area. We want to sort it by the one that says market percentage, which, that's a varying column. It might not be column 8, which is H. Maybe next time it'll be different. But we're going to sort it and have all these settings and record all that stuff. Wait a second. Am I recording? I am not. So we can go ahead and record this one in the personal macro workbook. We can copy and paste stuff as we see fit. Sort by market percentage. Alright, good enough. Alright, so data sort by market percentage. Click OK. So we've sorted this entire table by that. The next thing we probably want to record before we tweak everything. Goodness, I keep going back to that. Let's see. Color column, the income column green, and then change households to HH. Alright, piece of cake. So let's record what that would look like. When we go to the income column and we take that selection and we make it go green. So I think he means probably the background fill. We'll fill that with a light green here. And then we got to find the word households in the columns. So we could do a loop that goes through all these, and whenever it finds one that says households, simply change it to HH. Easy enough. Let's stop recording. Let's take a look at that. Alt F11. We do want to select the module that's in the personal workbook here. So I'll double click on that, and I think we found it. Let's expand that a little bit. This one's called macro 3. What happened here is we cleared all the previous sort fields so that we could do a brand clean one. It told us what the key was and some other features of the sort, and then it said go ahead and sort that range. The set range was this. Include the header, yes. Was not case sensitive. Top to bottom, not vice versa. And then apply. So that's when it actually goes through. So then I selected a different sheet, a few other things. So the selection.interior.color was this jive here. That's probably where the green came in. And then finally we took a certain cell that we selected and turned it into HH. We're going to make that a little more dynamic. So let's get started. I'm going to copy and paste some of this beautiful sorting code here into our macro that we want to do ourselves. First of all, if you've seen any of my YouTube videos, you probably know that you can run a simple line of code to get the last row of your sheet. And we want to do that because we want to get the number 17 in this case, because we want to be able to go from 2 to 17 or 2 to whatever if we are doing a loop. And we also want it to sort but not go any further than row 17 in this case. So we're going to do simply let's declare our sheet. No, we're not. We'll use active sheet or something like that, because the sheet will vary. Alright, so let's actually, how about this? S-sheet we're going to declare that's a worksheet. We're going to set S-sheet to be equal to this. How about the active sheet.name? Wait a second. Just active sheet. We'll just declare whatever the active sheet is. We're going to now set it to be S sheet, and that should do it. S sheet. Okay, so now we're going to get the last row. Last row equals S sheet dot cells rows dot count row and column 1. Anyways, this may be gibberish, but I promise you it makes sense if you watch the video. So there's our last row. Now we're going to take our sorting code here, which is gorgeous, that we have pre-recorded, and we will cater that to our needs. We're also going to set a sort area. So we're going to set sort area equals S sheet dot cells, and the row we're going to use is, let's see here, we'll use dot range, and we'll use the range of A2 all the way through, well, I guess that we need to get the last column too, don't we? Let me close this up here. How about last column? Column 1, columns dot count dot end using XL to left dot column. Now that'll get our last column. Now we're going to get the last column, and we're going to take the range of A2 through, I don't know what the last column is. Ah, crap. There's a way to do that, but it's either with cells. We use a range and use a couple cells here. So the first cell is going to be row 2, column 1, that's A2, and then the next location is at cells last row, comma, last column, and then put another parentheses, and that fills in the range area. So our sort area is going to be basically A2, which is row 2, column 1, all the way through whatever the last row is and the last column is. So that's kind of dynamic. That's how you get your sort area, and we can use sort area now on this other thing that we copied and pasted here. I am going to shift tab to unindent that a little bit. We're not going to use active workbook.worksheet sheet 1. We're going to use S sheet because we've already covered that tells Excel where to go. In fact, I'm going to do a find and replace. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. There's only 2 more instances of it, so I will Control V and Control V. If there was a bunch of them, I would find and replace using Control F. Alright, that being said, let's see. We have our sort area here. That's already going to be set in stone here. So clear the thing. Let's see. The key equals range. Instead of range, we'll just key equals sort A. That's our sort area. And the same with the. Wait a second. Let me undo that. Where the range, instead of using H, we don't know where market percentage is going to be, so we do need to do a little code beforehand. So we'll say MKT column equals, and we'll need to do a loop for X equal. Let's do a label here. Column for MKT percentage. Okay, so X is going to be column 1 all the way to LC, which is the last column. And of course, next X. For our loop, if S sheet dot cells, of course, row 1, comma, X, whichever column you happen to be on, equals the exact phrase MKT percentage sign. Then MKT column, the market column, equals whatever X is. And of course we're going to move on. So we're going to say go to, let's say, next. Go to next step. End if. So now next step is of course going to be this right here. And we'll put a colon right there. And that will tell it to go from here and stop going through the loop. It'll just take it right there. But it's really not necessarily, it would only change if the column said market percentage anyways, I guess. So, but the next step is to sort, which is this right here. So where do we leave off? The range that we need is H2. We're going to have to use cells again because this needs to be more dynamic. So the range is ssheet.cells, and then the row is going to be 2, comma, and then whatever the column or MKT column, comma, and then the other thing is sheet dot cells, and that is going to be whatever the last row is, comma, MKT column, and another parentheses to close that up. That's your range. As weird as that looks. So you're taking this key, and there could be multiple keys. The first sorting key is, in this case, column H, so they said H2 through H17. And then if you had a secondary sort key, like you sort it by this, and then by this, and then by this, there would be another, you'd copy and paste this, and have another instance of this. In this case, we just had one column, market percentage, that's what we want to sort by. So you would do H2 would be row 2, comma, and then the column was H, but in this case it was it would find column 8. And then this does the last row, which is 17, and the same column H, or 8 in this case. So we have that all figured out. The range, however, instead of A1 through K17 is sort A. And it looks like we need to change that to row 1. So A1, not A2. So when they take the sort area, they take the entire sort area and include headers, it looked like. So the set range is going to be sort A, which is a variable. Everything else should be good. So let's try just that part here. I'm going to hit save, and we'll try that here. Hit F8. So the last row of this active sheet here is 17. Last column is column 11, which is K, that's right. Sort area, we just set that. Alright. Zip code, alright. And then we're going to do a loop and search for MKT percent sign. Actually, I think it is a space percent. I'm just looking at that. But let's find out. So if SG blah blah blah, if that is, it's not MKT percentage, it's zip code. So next one in the loop is route, then APR, Feb, Jan, December, age. Now let's see if that matches. If this one equals MKT space percentage, then, okay, market column is equal to X. X is currently 8. So market column is now 8. So that's set. And it goes to the next step. So it's going to skip on to here. So now we're clearing any previous sort fields. Now we're telling it to sort by this custom range here. So, and then the actual command to sort is right here, and it activates right here at the bottom. The set range is sort A. We already set that up earlier. There is a header, yes. Orientation top to bottom, sort method, whatever the heck that is. Hit apply, and it just did the sort. So we are actually done with step 1, and that was the hardest part, I promise. I know there's a lot going on there. The next portion here is to color the column green, and then simply change that one to households. So let's go back here to our Visual Basic, copy and paste a little bit there. Alright, we're going to copy and paste that, Control C, and Control V. Yeah, I don't care if it resets, that's fine. Shift Tab. Alright, color, income, column green. Alright, so we got to get the column that's income, and we got to get the column that's that's household. So let's do another loop here. Let's take this loop here that we did and gather both of those bits of information. So if this one equals household, think it was. If it says household, then HH equals whatever that column is, and else if sheet.cells 1 comma x equals, what was the other thing? Income. If it equals income, then income equals x, so whatever that column is. So let's run that loop. Let's stop it right here and see how that does for us. And when we get to the end, we'll now have HH, whatever column that is, and income, whatever column that is. So it'll both be settled by when we get to here. Alright, let's hit F5. So x equals 1, alright, blah, blah, blah. So the first one, zip code, nope. Zip code, we're not looking for that one. The next one, route, nope. And April, Feb, January, December, age, market percentage. I'm going to change this back to household. Let's see, where were we? Oops, there we go. Okay. If this is household, then, hold on a second. Income, okay, distance, no, income, here we go. So when we get to this one, income equals income, yes. So we could go ahead and do that other step right here with this loop. Let's go ahead and just do it now. Let's say copy and paste this selection crap here. Control cancel. I'll just Control C to copy it, paste it. Okay, I do have to restart no matter what I do. That's awesome. Alright. Tab. So we haven't selected anything. So let's do sheet dot range, and that's going to be, let's say we need to use row 1 for our first thing, and whatever, let's see, whatever x is, that's the column, all the way through cells of last column, comma x. That's our range. Dot interior dot color equals, and they're saying it's 5296274 right down here. That's the color green, I believe, is what they're saying. So we might be able to get by with just that code there. I'm going to go ahead and comment out this just to make sure. And then the household thing is so easy. We'll just take whatever sheet cells 1 comma whatever column x is, and instead of household, it's now going to equal HH. And you should be done, actually. I think that's everything. Go ahead and delete this part here since we've already copied it. Should do it. So now let's go ahead and test this out. I'm going to hit Alt F8, and I'm going to take from my personal.xlsb. Let's do convert columns, add green. That's the one that we have been working on. Double click on it. So it already sorted by market percentage after finding that. And we're already to this loop here. Let's see if it works. I'm going to make this not green so that our test will be either successful or needing tweaking. So we're here now. Let's do this. If it's a household, April, Feb, Jan, December, age, boring. Let's see, market percentage, no. Distance, no. Income, okay, here we go. So if this is income, and it is, then it's going to take that range right here, dot interior dot color in equal to that. Let's hope that turns it green. It did. Look at there. Look at there. It did. Now we're going to continue in the loop. Now if this is household, then it sure is. Then that cell is now going to equal HH. See there? So hit F8 and we are done. So let's see that all in real time. Oh my, how'd we get to... Why did it go to 11, I wonder? Well, it's never easy, is it? Okay, we don't... this does not need to be X. This needs to be whatever the last column is, I believe. Or wait a second. Max. Oh, this should be last row, not last column. Ha ha ha. Okay, well, lesson learned, huh? So let's go ahead and redo everything, and I will take out the stop marker. And let's see what this looks like. Let's say, let's take out the stop marker right there. So you get a new worksheet, and you hit Alt F8, and you say, well, let's go ahead and run this thing and analyze some stuff. And double click, and what do you know? This is green, that says HH, and it's been sorted by market percentage. Of course, there's a lot more you can do with that, but be mindful of one thing, okay? Let's go back to our Visual Basic here. You can also hit Alt F11, but if you're depending on a variable to be the conditions to be met, meaning market percentage, and then if it never is met, then guess what? You're going to be sorting by something that doesn't exist, and you might get an error. So you need to make arrangements for that, I guess, in your code. You know, if this condition is never met, if X or if MKT column is empty, like this, if MKT column equals empty, then say maybe a message box, no MKT percentage column found. And at that point we would need to go to skip sorting. Whoops. Skip sorting. End if. So that being said, if it's found, it goes ahead and continues on here and does its thing and sorts. If not, it goes to something called skip sorting, which basically is right past the sorting. So this is where it would go if it was not found. So, very interesting. Anyway, that's how you do that. So I hope that helps some people, and thanks for watching, guys. God bless.